We've been doing that a lot. I think we'll all get used to it by the end of the night. I think someone's living under there. When did I pick up the microphone?
So we're going to have Tim back on for the panel later on. And right now, I am going to sit down with a good friend of mine. I went to school with this gentleman. He's very talented and very smart. I've known him for going on 10 years. Please welcome Behzad Dabu to the stage. Behzad, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am, I'm doing pretty good. I think Tim just might have put me out of a job there, but that's okay. We went to school together, man.
We did.
I know you.
You do.
We know each other.
You know me personally as a black man.
Right. Well, not that personally. But you're on the board, yes? The board.
I'm part of the 6-person collective.
Of the Chicago Inclusion Project.
Yeah.
I came across this because you just did a reading on Monday, and I saw lots of hubbub about it on the Facebook. A lot of really good equity, non-equity actors involved with this.
This is a great cast, yeah.
What is the Chicago Inclusion Project? If I could think of a broader question, I would.
What the Chicago Inclusion Project is a lot of things that it's not. So what it's not is a theater company. It's not a theater company, never will be a theater company. It's not going to produce plays. The Chicago Inclusion Project is a resource and a tool. It's a group of people that theater companies can use to help themselves level the playing field for LGBTQ, trans, LGBTQ is, LGBTQ,
I know.
People with disabilities,
Yes.
women, and people of color.
Yes.
And it's about leveling the playing field. So there's a lot of mission statements to that. The idea is not for Chicago Inclusion Project to help theaters do more work by people of color or have more roles on stage for people with disabilities. That's not the goal. That'd be great, but that's not the goal. The goal is when there is a part, the default doesn't need to be white male. For example, the play Rabbit Hole by David Lindsay Abair needs a kid who's a senior in high school. That play is always cast with
A white kid?
A white, right. It needs to be any kid.
Oh, it just says
kid.
It could be
in
in general.
So when there's a part for a kid, you should call in actors of all types. You should open up your mind to that. And we have a huge problem in this city because you just look around cast lists and 13 of 14 are white, or 15 of 15 will be white, or 23 of 25 recently will be white. And that's a problem because when this room isn't like that, and outside is not like that, and the red line is not like that. So the stories we're telling on stage are not mirroring the world that we live in.
Indeed. It sounds like you're creating change. I love it. Like I said, we went to school together at Columbia College Chicago. The motto of the school, create change. I think you did it.
Yeah.
They'll give you your diploma now.
Yeah.
That's good. A lot of really talented actors. Michael Patrick Thornton is one of them. He was just in a show at Looking Glass called Title and Deed that blew the back of my head right off. It was just outstanding. And this gentleman's in a wheelchair. And a lot of the times, it seems like he gets called in as, we need a guy in a wheelchair.
Right.
By Michael Patrick Thornton. And that's all he gets called in for, which is ridiculous because he's one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life.
The whole thing started with a conversation with people like Michael Patrick Thornton, where we say things like, it's harder for, if I use myself, it's harder for me to play a Muslim, because I'm not Muslim. It's hard for me to play an Afghan, because I've never been to Afghanistan. It's harder for me to play an Indian, because I grew up in America, than it is for me to play the American that no casting director can imagine that I could be cast as, right? And that's tough for me, because it's like, if there's a play where it says, hey, this kid grew up in Boston, I was born in Boston. But, no, I mean, he's white. He's white.
But he's Bostonian.
Yeah, so he's white, and that's a problem. So, Anish Jetlamani, if you know him, I'm in a show with him right now. Yeah, he's great. And he's been acting in this town for 25 years. He's fantastic. And he hasn't done a play without an accent since 2004.
Wow.
I've never done a play without an accent in Chicago.
Wow.
Never. I've never done a play where I'm an American. Ever. And so when we're having these conversations, and M-Joy was having this conversation, and she's the founding member.
M-Joy is the founding member
She's the
of
founding
Chicago
member.
Inclusion
And
Program.
we're having these conversations, and that's when I realized, like, okay, so let's help. And one thing, we don't think casting directors or directors or theater companies are racist. We don't think they're evil. We don't think they're trying to discriminate. We don't. We think it's just that the default is white. That a lot of times we've talked to the directors, and they're like, oh yeah, okay. On Monday night, I just said what I said to you guys. On Monday night, I just said what I said to you guys about me never having done a show in Chicago without an accent. And from a good friend director was like, no.
Yeah, I almost did the same thing just now.
It's
I mean,
like,
that's
no.
news to me.
And then it's like, well, yeah, let's go through my resume. Yes.
Well, that was a school play. Yeah, sure. Kaiser directed him in a play in school in which he played in America. So Kaiser is the voice.
So since the show Kaiser directed in 2008, I have not done the show without an accent.
See, I keep getting called in for Welsh, and I've never been. I can't do I have no frame of reference. So I totally get it. This is a new, I mean, when did this start?
Chicago Inclusion Project is about 4 months old.
Okay.
This was our first event on Monday, and I think it went really well. We had
Was it Victory Gardens?
It was at Victory Gardens. They were hosting it, but we had representatives from Looking Glass, Steppenwolf, Goodman, Chicago Shakes, Sideshow, Jackalope. Everybody was there. It was really fantastic. And the idea for moving forward is to create a database of actors so that when theater companies say, hey, guess what? We're on board. We want to do this. Give us some actors. We're going to have a database. We're also going to be able to educate. So say, hey, we're going to do this play. We're going to do You Can't Take It With You. And then You Can't Take It With You, this 1930s classic American play. There's some tricky issues with the black characters in that play, but we want to do the play. So help us. And then Chicago Inclusion Project is going to connect you with 2 black actors who've done their research, who can go and talk to the actors you cast if it's not them, and work with them and help you and make sure that you're doing the right thing and that you've done your due diligence.
Is Chicago Inclusion Project just actors?
It's not just actors, it's directors, it's writers, it's everybody. And another thing we're really interested in too is this. We want to go to a theater company, we want to say, hasn't happened yet, but this is our goal. To go to a theater company and say, what play do you want to do next season? Is there a couple ideas you have? Are you guys tossing some plays around? Great. Let us do a reading at your theater, but let us cast it. Just a reading. Let us cast it, and you don't have to use any of those actors. You don't have to like them. You don't have to know nothing. You don't have to ever even call them in for your show. But when you use us, does it matter that you had a guy in a wheelchair play the lead role? Does it matter? Did it really change things? He was a fantastic actor. Well, does it matter that a black lady played the role that isn't written with any type of race? Did it matter? Let us cast it and see if it matters.
And this is what happened on Monday. It was a reading.
It was a reading of a classic American play, The Time of Your Life, which has 23 actors. So we did that so we could get 23 fantastic actors on stage. And does it matter that the Dudley was Indian or that the guy who played Nick was African American? Did it really affect you? Because if we can all show up at 7:30, turn our cell phones off, spend $20, face the same direction, and believe what's going on stage, if we can all do that weird thing where we're all going to sit here and face the same way and watch people pretend, like they're mother and daughter when we know they're not, then what is the big deal if an Asian woman is playing a sister of someone who's not Asian?
It's so true. It's funny because earlier Meg won the audience interaction piece, the game, and I gave her tickets to Lunacy with Jackalope Theater Company's production going on right now. And if you have a hard time believing that a mother and daughter could be different race, don't come see this play because it's a farce and it's out there. So I didn't just say don't come see the play. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that to suspend your belief is to suspend your disbelief is to suspend your disbelief.
I did a production of 12th Night before where Antonio and Sebastian are supposed to be brothers in a way, and this production of that. And
I've read it. I've read 12th Night many times.
And I was Indian. I'm Indian. The actor's white, and I'm Indian background. The actor's white, and they didn't like that. They didn't buy it. But like earlier in the play, an old man comes on stage, bangs his stick, and a storm starts. And so it's like, what are you willing to believe? And what bothers me is that like right now with casting in movies is kind of popular on Facebook to post about, with like Emma Stone being cast as an Asian in a Hawaiian movie.
What?
Or Jake, or Joel Edgerton being an Egyptian king. There's a movie coming out called Gods of Egypt, which has a $130 million budget, and the 3 Egyptian kings are all white men. Jeffrey Rush, and 2 others.
Jeffrey Rush, come on, man.
So a lot of times people are saying that's wrong, that shouldn't happen, that's wrong, it shouldn't happen, that's wrong, it shouldn't happen, and I agree. But then what happens when we want to put Donald Glover as Spider-Man? White people freak out, like no, he's white. Or when Idris Elba's going to be Bond, people no, that's supposed to be a white character. And
They're not going to do that, are they? I can do English. I can do that. No, this is, I mean, yeah, so many people say, it's wrong, someone should do something. Well, someone has done something, and I love the Chicago Inclusion Project. I think it's a brilliant thing to have started, and not a moment too soon. We're going to have you back up here for the panel in just a minute, but first we're going to do song number 2 from Danny James. We're going to welcome Danny back up to the stage.